Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, June the 20th. It's race number 8 at Belmont at the Big A. Let's throw up a field of fillies and mares and a second level allowance with a 62,500 claiming option. We're going a mile on the turf. The 9 through 12 are entered main track only. Pretty competitive group, Mike, with the one Revelita, your 2-to-1 morning line favorite, despite the fact that we haven't seen her in about 11 months.
Yeah, and despite the fact that she hasn't won a race in North America yet either, Dan, I do think she deserves to be the favorite in here, though, taking a little bit of a step back in class. It'll be interesting to see how this race plays out, though, because there are several horses in this field who have already been trip and pace compromised several times. But they're running on turf in New York, Dan, and there's never pace in these races.
And Revelita is a horse that likes to race from the back of the pack, so a slow race flow could work against her. And that's what our friends at Timeform US are sort of projecting. A blue bar situation, which favors front runners. Quarrel is a horse that can race close to the pace. She chased quick fractions last time out in the Bogey. Bengala Joy, the 3, is going to add blinkers. I'm not sure how forward she's going to be, but I do think the number 2, Towhead, who might be a little bit dirtied up, is going to be right up close, if not outright on the lead.
I thought the same thing. We'll see, how it all plays out ultimately, Dan. But I do think the 2 is in a position here where they could really use her speed coming back to the grass.
Now, Revelita began her career in France, and she hasn't won a race in about 2 years, and she's making her first start off of a long layoff and her first start against older fillies and mares. But as Mike mentioned, she's just faced tougher competition. She was 4th in the Lake George last time out. 3rd place finisher, came back and won a graded stake at Kentucky Downs with a 90 buyer. It's interesting that Chad had her entered at Aqueduct 2 months ago. She was listed as a vet scratch, and it's taken her a while to get her back into the entries.
Yeah, we'll see what that means. I noticed that too. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but I guess we'll find out. I think more than anything else, if you're just going to judge her off what you have in front of you on paper, they're coming back to her available condition here for a trainer who's excellent off of layoffs, and she gets Lasix for the first time. And then it's just when you take apart those 4 losses in graded stakes races last year, like, she ran really well in all of those races. The first 2 where she just had terrible setups and made up ground way too late. I thought the Wonder again was a good performance. I think it kind of pointed out that she doesn't want 9 furlongs. I think this is a great distance for her. This is a great spot for her. It's a great post for her. We'll just see what kind of trip she gets.
Towhead is the number 2. She's expected to be up close to the pace for trainer Michael Maker, who will race this filly on turf for the first time since the fall of 2022. In the Jessamine Stakes, a race where she basically had no chance, breaking from post 12 and chasing a glacial pace, one in front running style. I thought her 2 prior races at Saratoga that summer weren't bad at all. I think she'll be okay getting back to turf.
I agree. And she also just missed in a Kentucky Downs Stakes race after those Saratoga efforts. I mean, there's plenty of turf to point her out in this field. And listen, her dirt form's okay. I thought she ran some good dirt races. I think she's super interesting coming back to the turf in here. And I'd like to see this rider get aggressive with her from the gate.
Bengala Joy is the number 3. She's getting blinkers for the first time, and she'll be making her first start at almost 6 months. Both of her lifetime victories have come on the synthetic surfaces, one at Gulfstream, one at Presque Isle Downs. Her last race at Tampa Bay Downs wasn't very good, but it did precede a layoff. Maybe she just needed a break afterwards.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's not a great sign. I don't think that she was off, about a 6-month layoff there, and then she runs in that race, doesn't run any good, and now she's off again. So it suggests that there's something wrong here. She's changed barns since then. Listen, she got the 2 wins on the all-weather, and the figures she was earning on turf are comparable to what she was running on the all-weather, but they don't make her a contender in here.
The number 4, Mally Moo, is a stakes winner going a mile on the turf. That was the Penn Oaks last year, a race where they just handed her the lead and showed her no respect whatsoever. And she made them pay after walking the dog through a half mile in 49-2. Now, she hasn't won since then, but at least her most recent start, her first start off of about a 7-month layoff, was a step in the right direction, albeit with a good trip.
Yeah, you got a really good trip in that race. Just really couldn't get involved in there behind an odds-on front-running winner. I guess it was an okay performance, though, all in all. She's a little bit of a tough call because I think she's hard to like off the Penn Oaks. I don't know that I would bet her off of anything else that she did, although I'm not sure what was going on at the end of last year, Dan, when Pletcher took over briefly. I mean, a sprint at Kentucky Downs and they stretch her all the way out to a mile and a half. It seems like neither of those things were going to work for her.
Quarrel is up next, and she seems like a very logical contender, getting some class relief after running in 3 graded stakes. She tried the Bogey in her first start off of a long layoff, and she had the misfortune to catch a really good field. Both the winner and runner-up came back to place in Grade 1 stakes races with a 97 buyer. The third-place finisher came back, earned a 91 over the weekend at Monmouth, so she fits with these horses. She has tactical speed, and she likely gained fitness off the last race.
Yeah, backing up a little bit in class here too, which I guess could help her. Although this is a pretty strong allowance race for. I don't know. She ran fine last time, Dan. I don't really know what to do with that race because ultimately she probably had the best trip in the race, maybe outside the winner, and she never really factored in there at all. But maybe it was just too tough a spot. I don't know. I like some of her races. It seems like every time they try her against tougher horses, she's not even close. I'm not sure how good she is.
Alluring Angel is the number 6. This one will be making her first start for Chad Brown in her first race of 2024. We'll go back to her final start last year, where she was to really dig down deep and win a 9-furlong first level allowance race. The runner-up would come back to place in a similar spot with an 81 buyer speed figure. It looked like the horses on the outside had all the momentum, Mike, but Alluring Angel, once she got out, she was really able to dig in gamely.
Good trip in here overall, but you're right. She had to alter out from behind that leader while those horses to her outside both had momentum already. I like the way that she fought off that favorite to win at the end. A really good performance. She was so dirtied up on the way into that race, Dan. I mean, her 2-year-old races, she ran so well in the Miss Grillo and the Tepin in races where there was zero pace in front of her and she was running at the end. She just had way too much to do. I just think she's way better than she looks on paper. We'll see how much money she takes now. Trainer change, Lasix on off of a win. It feels like she gets bet in here, but I think deservedly so. She's good.
Either way is the number 7. I really liked her win in the Sanibel Island back in 2023 on the turf. I thought that was a quality performance, and she's only sort of run in fits and starts. When she does run, she gives a good performance, and maybe she'll slowly racing herself back into shape. I think she was completely compromised by the lack of pace when she was wired by an odds-on favorite last time out. I won't be surprised if she does a lot better. I think 3-1 might be a little bit light, but there's a chance she drifts.
There is. It's also worth noting too, that last one, not only was there no pace, she's stuck on the outside the entire way while everybody else gets to save ground. Nothing worked out for her in there. You can go back to her final start as a 2-year-old also, Dan. I mean, she was best in there, just got out-tripped by the winner and took a really tough beat that day. She's a little bit dirtied up on the way into this.
Let's watch Breath Away and Swoop to Finish, the number 8. They both come out of that race that featured no pace. You see the odds-on winner, Sacred Wish, just sprinting for home. Breath Away is going to end up finishing 4th. Swoop to Finish is saving ground and will get 2nd. And your point is well taken. Breath Away, the 7, had to take the long way around. Swoop to Finish saved every inch.
Yeah, just got caught up on the outside here, and she's right there in the photo. That's Mally Moo also in between horses. They just both got to save a ton of ground in here. And they finished 2nd and 3rd while Breath Away just got stuck on the outside. This horse ran fine in there, but the trip was there for her. And she's got a little something to prove. Her last 2 races are okay, though.
No, last 2 races were fine. She won a first level allowance at Gulfstream, then went to the layoff. And usually when they go off the bench off of a win, it's never a good sign. But she ran just fine off the layoff last time. Something tells me she needs just the right setup, the right trip, and for a lot of things to go right. Swoop to Finish 6-1 on the morning line. Everybody else is a main track only in here. So before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time. Thursday race of the day, Revelita, number 1. I think she's just found the right spot for Chad. She's going to have to deal with a layoff, maybe a lack of pace. She showed enough in those grade stakes races that I think this is the right spot.
I agree. I'm just going to keep the faith with her. I tried her in a couple of those stakes races last year, and I thought she ran fine without winning. I'm going to keep the faith with her here and hope that she's ready off the bench. And actually got the 2 Chad horses 1-2 in this race.
Yeah, I got him 1-3. I'm hoping that the 7 runs a little bit better if there is a little bit more pace. 1-6-7-2 for Mike, 1-7-6-4 for me. Race 8, Belmont at the Big A is your Thursday DRF race of the day. Best of luck.